Terry Holland is on our next show. And welcome back, everybody, to my show. It's actually the season finale, but you may be watching this in a different order. We have my very, very special guest back this week. I think we started the season with you, and now we're ending the season with you. It's Terry Holland. I want to give you a proper intro, which I've cheated and written down. You're a trainer of NLP, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and NLP coaching. Speaker, performance coach, and motivator. Let's welcome to the show officially Terry Holland. How are you doing, Terry?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm awesome. There's always a little bit of euphoria and sadness at the same time when it's a season closer, but I'm going to be running what I like to call reruns all summer anyway of some very special shows. So more on that a little bit later. I want to get right into this, and I'm going to share with our listeners and viewers as well how I think when we first had you on the show, I looked at your website, and one of the things that stood out was the Breakthrough Weekends. In fact, the title of this show is The Breakthrough with Terry Holland, but I probably meant to say Breakthrough Weekends. And there was something very, very magical feeling about the title and the fact that, well, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to read that you promised 2 transformational days for letting go of anything that is getting in your way of success so that you can create the life you want. And I believe and know, as you do as well, that we get in our own way. Our subconscious worries, or even our conscious worries, our issues, our problems, our traumas, unless we clean them up, and I call them the dustbin of our mind, unless we clean that up, then we're not going to achieve our full potential, where we're going to either hesitate or lack self-esteem or worthiness, or maybe not be motivated at all. And what excites me about hypnotherapy in general is that we can help others to clean up that dustbin of their mind. And let's briefly, please, talk about this, tools you use, how you do it, and what people can expect.
For sure. So it's 2 days, as you mentioned, and over that 2 days, I use a combination of NLP, hypnosis, and timeline therapy. So using all of those tools combined to create change.
Let's briefly tell people what NLP is. Now, there's tons of courses, certification courses just about NLP. I had NLP included in my Robert Shields College of Hypnotherapy more than 10, probably 15 or 17 years ago. And it was a huge course. But it excited me. NLP excited me, and I realized I'm already using words in a positive way, in a and when I say suggestive, I don't mean in a naughty way or whatever. I've put the label naughty on suggestive, but we do essentially. I'm going to give you my my take on NLP, and I'd love you to share with people, so it's not just a bunch of letters. NLP. What's NLP? It's neuro-linguistic programming. But anyway, it's shifting anchors. So rather than fear being an anchor, or low self-esteem, or something that's holding you back being the anchor, you substitute for your clients, patients, and students a different anchor. An anchor that is no doubt motivational. An anchor that is stronger self-esteem and worthiness, etc. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, and that's part of it, for sure.
Okay, so let's elaborate on NLP and then...
NLP, sure. NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. So your neurology, the human nervous system. Linguistic, language, how we label our world, how we describe our experience, how we communicate both verbally and non-verbally with others, and also how we communicate with ourselves. It's the communication of the mind. And then programming, how that programs the neurology to create behavior and get results. Now, you're either getting results you want, you're getting results you don't want. And using NLP, we can change those outcomes so that you get more of what you want in life. Very simply put, it's the study of excellence.
I love that. I love that. Because within all of us, if I'm going to get a little bit metaphysical, because that is my background in education, in New Thought metaphysics, we are excellence. We are perfection. There's no part of our body on all levels that is not perfect. Our mind, our body, our spirit, our soul, if you will, it's perfection. And the only thing preventing or hindering, I don't want to use the word preventing, it's a little bit too strong, we'll say slowing down or hindering somewhat, a shining through, this perfection shining through is ourself, is our mind. And so I love that. I love the way you kind of relatively briefly explained NLP. I think it was on Facebook, I'm not sure exactly where it was, but somebody, I think it was a peer, if you will, he referred to you as the queen of NLP, and
Yes.
and I love that. And I don't know where to go with that, but I was proud for you that you said that, so I thought I'd bring that up. So I'm going to plug you shamelessly right away. For our viewers and listeners out there, you want someone who will help you help yourself. Terry's your, I almost said Terry's your man. Terry's your person. and I know that any blocks or hindrances that we've self-created will begin to dematerialize. Boy, that sounds pretty metaphysical. With your help, with your guidance and your assistance. So that brings us back up to the Breakthrough Weekends. What sort of people attend the Breakthrough Weekends? Is it highly traumatized people? Is it people with there's no such a thing as minor issues, but less traumatic backgrounds? I don't know. Or is it just everybody? Who would this help?
Everybody.
Ah, okay. Perfect.
I get a broad range of people who attend. So some people come because they are carrying a lot of trauma and they want to let that go. And other people come because they're professionally stuck and maybe they're an entrepreneur and they want to achieve a higher level of success, but they're feeling stuck where they are and need to break through that. Some people come because they want to work on their health goals and they're feeling like they're frustrated, they're stuck, they keep doing the same thing over and over, it's not working. And for other people, it is a major trauma that they want to overcome. Others come because they hear it's cool. One of their friends came to it, sounded cool, and they have no idea what they want. They just want to have an experience.
Perfect. Please tell me you don't do fire walking. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
No.
There's a lot of cliche things from years ago. There's total validity to all of these tools. The fire walking. I knew a few people probably more than 20 years ago who attended motivational seminars, and there was some kind of stick that they pressed against their heart or themselves.
Yes, I've done a workshop like that.
Oh,
and it
really?
It's an arrow.
Okay.
And it goes right here, and you step forward, and the arrow breaks, and that's you stepping forward into what you want.
Oh, it's so powerful. It's so powerful, but no fire walking yet.
I don't do that, and I don't do the stick thing. At my master practitioner training, they do break a board, but that's for a different purpose. That's more for modeling, to model behavior.
I love that, and I'm not going to say that anything is more legitimate than the other, but I am partial to Far Eastern practices, both Ayurvedic and things like Tai Chi and Qigong and things based in Buddhism and Taoism. And breaking a board, if some people can connect that, they'll connect martial arts. But martial arts is more than the physical. Martial arts is mental. You're transcending the physical. And I'm assuming that you're transcending your own mental limitations with board breaking, etc. in your seminars. So what do you get people to do?
Yeah, so that's just in the master practitioner training, not in the breakthrough weekend.
Okay, so they're not going to take their heads and break a board. They're not going to...
No.
We'll hope not. It is a process for anyone out there.
Not disconnected.
Okay, for anyone out there listening, for anyone out there watching, it's not an overnight thing. And I nag. I hope I nag enough people so they get the idea that it's transformational, it's breakthrough. But at the same time, you're not necessarily taking a magic wand and waving it or tapping them or banging them on the head and suddenly knocking some sense into them. You're okay. I'm okay. You're okay. Now that's something else. And you're not doing that. People have to own up. They have to take responsibility
Yes.
because it's not just all on you. So let's chat a little bit. Let's not nag, but let's bring that up and emphasize how important it is for people to own what they're doing as part of their breakthrough weekends and their transformation.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing starts with responsibility. So the very first segment that I teach in the Breakthrough Weekend is about cause and effect and taking personal responsibility for the effects you create in your life. Now, that means that when you are at cause for your life, you create the results in your life. And when you're at effect, you blame everything else for why your life is the way it is. Now, what that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean you're responsible for anything bad and traumatic that happened in the past. What it means is that from this point in time, you are responsible for how you respond to life, how you interfere in life, how we choose to evaluate the past based on this present moment.
Excellent. That's so
The very
crucial.
first thing, yeah. And that's the first thing they have to do is accept, take responsibility. And the way I describe it is that if this is my problem, if I have a problem, if the problem's outside of me, I can't change something that's not me.
Hmm.
The moment I say this is my problem, and so it has to be me. For me to
Yes,
perceive there's a problem, it has to be me. And the only thing
absolutely.
I can affect and change is me.
Absolutely. And we have to own up to that. That is the only thing we can control. Our feelings, our perceptions, and I'm gonna. Oh, you're not on the line anymore.
No, it got disconnected.
Okay, so I'll have to cheat later and re-upload like we spoke about. That's okay. What is? Okay, I'll figure this out somehow.
Somehow.
Um, um, in fact, I'll just end the audio episode because it'll just be a waste, and I'll do that up later. What's so important is for people to own up to that, and essentially to be empowered or re-empowered by the fact that the only thing they can change is themselves and their attitude. And what I was going to bring up, in essence, was the way we perceived things an hour ago, 2 hours ago, a week ago, a month ago, years ago. Because we've grown, because we're not the same person we were some time ago, I'll say, in a general fashion, then absolutely, I'm not going to say we're mistaken, but if we look back, and this is how my mind treatments work, what I call the mind treatments, they're not original, but they're original for this day and age. Someone else created them, and we spoke about this off camera. And oftentimes, we maybe because we were more sensitive years ago, or maybe because we misunderstood, or maybe fill in the blanks for whatever reason, we perceived something, and you want to hang that up. I hear something
Oh,
going. Um,
nothing. I
oh,
think
oh,
that's you.
that could be me. It's me, and so it's not you. It's me. What's really exciting? Hello, it's not you. It's me, and I can change me right here and right now.
Right now.
I can hang up the phone. Um, and so, for whatever reasons, our perceptions of an incident or whatever has happened some time ago may have been inaccurate. And if we fast forward to the here and now, and this is essentially what I do with my clients, is a shift of perception
Yes.
to non-emotional, to just plain black and white. This is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And we choose at the time, based on wherever we are in our evolution, our personal evolution, to perceive things as happy or sad or traumatic or we're our own judgmental person. But that's
Yeah.
how we see things. We have no choice but to see things through our human eyes and our human senses. But we can reprogram ourselves. We can first see that we do have power in that. We have power in how we see things. We have power in how we react or respond. I like to say respond rather than react. And that whole thing is so exciting. Share with us a little bit. Maybe you have a very brief story of someone or a client, or maybe even yourself, who saw themselves a certain way, and thanks to your tools and technologies, if you will, now you or someone else doesn't see themselves that way, sees themselves maybe as more empowered or more who and what they truly are.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's when you go through this process using timeline therapy, that's exactly what it is. It's a temporal shift in perspective of an event. And the person can no longer perceive it in that way anymore, the old way. Now, we say in NLP, everyone is always doing the best they can with the resources they have available. So at that time, you were doing the best you could.
Yes.
And now, from this point in time, you can evaluate it in a different context, in a different way, and shift your perspective of it. And when we do that, we get learnings. And it's the learnings from the past that allow us to let go of the negative emotions on that event and move forward for the future. So I used to see myself as a person who was full of fear. Everything I did was fear-based. Someone would ask me, actually my first coach asked me, he said, what are you afraid of? And I said, well, I'm afraid of deep water, and I'm afraid of public speaking, and I started listing things off. And then I just said, well, you know what, really, I'm afraid of everything. That was how I operated through life. So I saw myself as a person who was incredibly fearful of the world. And when I let that go, I was able to see myself as someone who's very strong and capable.
Perfect.
And it doesn't have to be a scary place.
How did you let that go?
Through timeline therapy,
Okay.
through the process and technique of timeline therapy.
It's awesome. We also had to study that. That is part of our course with the Robert Shields College of Hypnotherapy. And many times I've had to use timeline therapy when a person can't remember a specific trauma. So, for another therapy that I'd be using, I'd get them through, the various periods and timelines in their life until they've experienced it, but not in a traumatic way, songs, the emotions, and whatnot. But it's such a crucial tool, and I'm so glad that you're able to offer it to people. We're going to take a break and come back. And I'd like to share a very brief meditation. It's of a mystical nature and a promo as well. We'll be back. We sit in the love energy of the presence, and we take a deep breath, releasing the breath. We feel now the peace, the love, the joy, the higher intelligence, the wisdom, for God is everywhere. There is no place Source is not, therefore where we are, Source is. Creation is. The presence is. In this energy of creation, of life itself, we sit knowing that already we are living an even greater life, an even greater existence. Already we are living the life of infinite wisdom and infinite possibilities. Already we are living in perfect wholeness and health, even now. And we are grateful. Infinite joy, infinite wisdom is working through us now as us and forevermore. And we give thanks. We release this word knowing that it shall, can, will return to us multiplied of itself, never void. We let it be so now and unto forevermore. And so it is. And so it is. Amen. 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 Listen and watch Fridays to my podcasts and webcasts on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Spreaker Radio, Blog Talk Radio, Anchor FM, Facebook, YouTube, and Stitcher. And we're back with Terry Holland. Terry, we were speaking of so many important tools. We just touched on it, really. It would take many lifetimes to discuss everything and to really grasp the importance of what you do and of these tools. So let's say a person, anybody, who feels they have issues they'd like to resolve, perhaps they're not performing to their capacity, they believe, they would ring you up or they would email you and you would arrange for a breakthrough weekend. Is that correct?
Yes. So either people would come to a breakthrough weekend, which is a group process, or work with me one-on-one in a personal breakthrough session. And essentially
Perfect.
both follow the same process. The personal one is just, of course, personalized, and we can go a lot deeper. So we can really dig into the problem. In the group setting, it's more self-directed. I'm guiding the process, but they're in charge of taking themselves through it.
How exciting and how important is this? If people want to, and they should, never say should, but I'm saying should, if people feel they want to move forward in their life, how can they contact you?
The easiest way is through my website at terryholland.ca.
Excellent. Can't thank you enough, Terry, for joining us this week. Hopefully you'll come back next season. I think it'll be our, I don't know, I've lost track, 12th, 13th, 14th season, but I have a good feeling about this, and I feel that even people just listening to you or watching us will get something out of it. And again, thank you so much, Terry Holland, for joining us.
Thank you.
And most of all, I'd like to thank all of you out there for joining us. We're usually here every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Until next time, peace and richest blessings.